Hi guys, this is Anita Silwal. I've been in the United States of America for the last 4 years. I'm a senior planner for City of Winter Haven as well as the founder of nonprofit Welcome Womanhood. Today I'm with Anuz and Dipika in the podcast At the End of the Day.
Okay, thank you so much, Anita, for giving your valuable, busy time for our podcast, Anita.
It's my pleasure to be with you guys.
Yeah, for those of our audience who are listening to us on the podcast apps, so we are in New York right now, whereas Anita is in Florida. Where exactly in Florida are you based, Anita?
I'm in Lakeland, which is in between Tampa and Orlando. It's sort of like a center point between two different cities.
Oh, by the way, full disclosure for our audience who are watching us or who are listening to us, Anita and I, that is Anuz Thapa, we started our television career in Nepal on News 24 television, and it was really a good time, Anita, right?
Absolutely. I spent almost little bit more than 4 years with News 24. Even though I was in media since 4 years, it was a different taste being a journalist, being a news anchor, and a talk show host.
And I must say, share this information with our audience that Anita was in the peak of her television career, and like she left everything, and then she came to America and started a new life. So we're going to be talking about how, one restart their career, reboost their career in a new country. How difficult was that, Anita? Because you're on the top of your career.
It was quite difficult. The situation was a little bit different for me. Basically, when people come over here, they come for education or whatever. I got married and moved. And basically, 4 years back, when I recall, it was a very difficult time because people think when you're married and when you move to America, people think it's not that hard. It's gonna go easy because you have a spouse who is supportive. You have a spouse who is already established, who knows the system here. But the bitter truth is, for a person like me who comes from a public profile background, I went through a little bit of stress and anxiety during that time frame, just trying to figure out what's the next purpose in my life. It was really hard to handle, and almost after a year I realized it's within you. No matter how hard you are hit by the situation, I guess it's very important to rise back as a fire.
And Anita, could you share some moment with our audience, the initial phase you came to America?
Yes, I absolutely remember the day and the date. It was early 2015. I landed to Tampa International Airport, and the next day I felt so good because no one and no one knows you. It's a sort of good thing to have a feel about as a public profile in some other countries. The first week was very good because you have a jet lag and everything. But starting from next week, I started panicking within because I had nothing to do. And my husband had to go to work, and I stayed all day home working on my different little projects. From the 9th day when I was here, I started volunteering for American Cancer Society. And I volunteered with them for almost more than a year as a full-time volunteer. And I also worked for Ronald McDonald House of Charities. And those two different volunteer work helped me to understand the working culture and sort of a little bit of system in the America. And after a year and a half, I guess, I received an offer to teach Nepalese language to U.S. Navy Force. I was offered a job through LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Nice. Mm-hmm.
How did that come across?
I just received not email. I received a message in my LinkedIn from the HR, I guess. I guess that's her designation. So she approached me, hey, it looks like you are a well-established profile back in your country, so would you like to teach Nepalese language to the U.S. Navy people here? I said, of course I do. It was sort of online thing, and I had to build and prepare the course and syllabus and everything. there was two different. One was like 16 weeks course, and the other was 32 weeks course. I did that for a year, and I started school. I think, yeah. I was even though I was struggling so hard to find what I want to do next. I realized like working with people would be a better choice for me. I did my TOEFL, I did my GRE, and got enrolled in the University of Florida for Masters of Urban Planning. However, I have to drop the course because my husband got a good job in Lakeland. So that was a point I realized, okay, what I'm gonna do then, like if it continues happening. I have a very supportive husband. He really encouraged me to pursue my master's in information technology, and I got enrolled in Florida Polytechnic University, and I graduated this May with a degree of master's in innovation and technology. This is the academic part. So going back to the professional or work experience, after I guess like after a year when I worked as like online tutor for the LEAP program for US Navy, I applied for an internship, like a summer internship in the city of Lakeland. I got hired. I was very fortunate to get hired because like when I went back and saw other resumes, I think they were like far more competitive. And that internship was supposed to last for 3 months. However, I ended up working for 22 months.
Oh my God! Was that still an internship, or your internship transformed into a full-time or part-time job?
Yes, I would say part-time because I was working 30 hours and I was a full-time student of computer science, which was not my background at all. Yeah, then for 22 months, I worked for City of Lakeland, and last February, I was hired as a senior planner for City of Winter Haven here in Florida. So I've been working in that capacity for last 3.5, 4 months.
Wow. So what does your job require you to do as senior planner in that office?
My major role is to work with the neighborhoods and to create a sort of a long-term neighborhood goals and neighborhood planning. That's my primary role. There are like all sort of other things that comes along the way, and I also do GIS and build maps for my department.
When you say GIS, that's Geographical Information System, right?
That's correct.
Anita, I remember when we were planning to do this podcast, you and I talked over the phone about what we should be talking about, and you mentioned something about you wanted to discuss about the mental state you went through when you first came to America. Would you like to elaborate on that?
Yes, basically, like I really don't know how it feels when you come as a student, but coming from a South Asian country as a married woman, I think most of the women are not encouraged and influenced to pursue their studies. There might be very, very few or many circumstances that comes through. In my case, it was, I guess it was a lot of chains, cultural chains and everything. Honestly, I felt so alone. Maybe it was because of the public profile background I had, and I just used to be sad most of the time, and I was just trying to find the purpose of my life, and I realized it's within you. You need to change by yourself, and this is the main message that I really want to give to all the immigrants who come here and go over stress or anxiety period. You just need to learn how to get yourself calmed down. My husband suggested me to do meditation, yoga, and all the things. You just need to be quiet and calm person within yourself, and it takes time. It's not like overnight thing. So it takes time, and just try to be calm and just try to figure out how you can use your talents, your skills to help others or to help yourself in future.
How often do you miss being on air, especially for the prime news on television?
Um, to be very honest, I don't.
Nice.
Wow. Are you serious?
Yes, I don't. Because, no, the thing is, I have been in media since I was 4 years old. I did movies, I won beauty pageant competitions, I did TV ads. I did a lot of things as a media person, not when I was a journalist, but since I was 4. So, yes, I loved being a TV reporter or sort of TV anchor and a talk show host, but I really don't miss being a prime news anchor because I have been heavily involved with people here in America, and I am starting my very own show very soon.
Wow.
All the best.
I just thought of an idea of doing some social work, and I kept on doing for a year. I partnered with different student organizations back in UF. I did a couple of programs for girls and women back in Nepal. And my mentor and supervisor in city of Lakeland, her name is Lynn Simpkins. She was the one who influenced me to, hey, like we can build this as a nonprofit. So all the idea came that time when we were like driving around our neighborhoods. So she really insisted me to like start a nonprofit. So I was like, okay, let's do it. I was really not serious into that. But when we started a nonprofit and started doing sort of women empowerment, like particularly girls empowerment program here in Florida, back in Nepal, we are doing that in Kenya and Malawi too right now. Most of them are focused on teen pregnancy, single motherhood, community leadership, and so on.
Okay. Wow. The project idea that you just shared with us sounds really motivating, and in the current scenario, I think that is such a strong project. And if your project comes out to be very effective, I think not only Florida, like a number of other states also has a lot to learn from your project, right? From your initiation.
I think so. Thank you, Dipika, for mentioning this. It means a lot.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, definitely.
If you have to give an advice to newly arriving immigrants who are like as successful like you when they were in country and they have to transform themselves to a new home, what advice do you want to give out to them?
Be patient and try to figure out the opportunities that you have. Don't like just wait till the last moment. Perhaps like if you come from an accounting background, don't wait till you get an accounting job. Just try to grab the opportunities that you have and just try to make sure that you understand the working culture, you understand the social culture, and you understand both professional and personal values, which will help you get more adopt in this environment.
Thank you so much for your time and sharing the story of your personal experience. That means a lot to us.
Thank you for having me, and I just want to tell all the viewers or listeners, just subscribe to this podcast. This is great, guys.
Thank you so much, Anita. And by the way, I just almost forgot to mention this. If anybody wants to reach out to Anita for any career advice, what would be a good way to get in touch with you?
I can provide my email. My email is Anita Silwal, ANITASILWAL 432@gmail.com.
Thank you so much to our audience who are watching and listening to our podcast and has been supporting us throughout this more than 1 year's journey. And please do log into our podcast website, podcast@theendoftheday.com, and do subscribe to our channel on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, all the platforms you can find us.
Yes, thank you so much for watching and thank you so much for listening to the podcast. We really appreciate your time. So we will catch you next week.
Bye-bye.
Hey guys, a quick note. If you have a personal story that you think might be helpful to the newly arriving immigrants in the US, please contact us. We would love to feature you in our podcast. Go to our website, podcast@theendoftheday.com, and write to us by going to the feedback section.
And by the way, if you love this podcast, you can support us with a small donation. Your help will enable us to continue producing more episodes. The link to support our podcast is in the description below.